some prominent young player, provided neither one of them get hurt, and I'm talking about Luka Doncic and Jayson Tatum, some prominent young next great thing is going to win his first championship.
Yep.
They're going to take that off the table. Like we do this with basketball players. I think more so than we do it with any other players. Let's stop here for a second. Do we do this with basketball players more so than we do it with any other athletes in any other sport? Like, when are they going to get it done? Like, it becomes, it'll happen with Wembanyama. Watch. We recognize you're an incredible talent, and at first we just focus on that. We go, this person's amazing. What an amazing talent. Oh, they got a chance to be special. And we just sort of appreciate how amazing you are for a little while. But eventually you don't win enough, or you don't have a championship, and we change the conversation to, well, when is he going to get one? Is he ever going to get one? How great is he if he can't even get one? You know he ain't even been there yet. Or, man, he's gotten there, but he can't get the whole thing done. Like, these conversations shift. And it's interesting because we then turn around and hate on LeBron for running to Miami to get a title, hate on KD for running to Golden State to get a title. They only do this stuff because we keep saying, when are you going to get one? Imagine if every day you went to work, somebody was saying, when are you going to do this thing?
Right.
Eventually, you just be like, you know what? I'm going to go do it now.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go do it now. I'm going to take up my talents to South Beach. I'm going to go do it now. But we put a lot of pressure on these people. Like, it's not enough just to be a great basketball player.
Yeah, and I agree with you that it is the NBA probably more than any of the other major sports. Because, like, in baseball, forget it. Like, I mean, Mike Trout's been one of the best players in baseball forever now, but we're never like, when's Mike Trout going to win a World Series?
It's just like
that's
Mike
just
Trout.
not how that works.
It is never an indictment of Mike Trout.
Right.
We always say the Angels suck.
Right.
Nobody ever says Mike Trout. What's wrong with Mike Trout?
Yeah. I mean, even in the NFL, like, I mean, we do, I think a glaring example might be Josh Allen, but it's like you'll even have excuses where it's like, well, they got rid of Stephon Diggs. Like, I mean,
Or it's like, well, Patrick Mahomes is there.
Patrick Mahomes is there. Yeah,
it's like,
right.
Does anybody hate on Lamar Jackson because he hasn't won a Super Bowl?
Not really. I mean, I do think it's pretty polarizing with him though, a little bit.
He's polarizing.
He's one of the best examples of the NFL of that. Yeah.
But like, I don't really. It's not really a thing because we will always just say, well, what are you supposed to do? Patrick Mahomes plays for them, or what are you supposed to do? He's not surrounded by this. But with basketball players, we get to a point where we cannot call you great if you don't also have a title.
Right.
People have people get caught up on that in a way that they just don't in other sports too much. Maybe soccer they do as well. I guess this was sort of a thing with Messi and Argentina.
It was. Yeah, it was.
I mean, I remember reading a long article like he'll never be Maradona because he'd never done this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like he can be a better player than Maradona, but he'll never mean as much.
Right.
Well, now he has the World Cup, so but that was a big thing. And I guess until he won a World Cup, people were like, well, can he really be the GOAT if he's never won a World Cup? So I guess maybe we do it in soccer. Mm-hmm. But we really do it in basketball in ways that we don't do it in most other sports. For instance, like, nobody's sitting around. There's not some big conversation like, what's wrong with Francisco Lindor? I mean, there is. He's not that great. But it's like, is he like, it's just like, well, he plays for the Mets and the Mets stink, and so what are you going to do? But basketball players, eventually we start to blame you.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't, well, is he really great? If he ain't get, so one of those guys is going to be able to take that off the table.
Yeah.
Again, provided neither one of them gets hurt, because I guess there's a scenario. But if one of them gets hurt, the team probably not winning a championship.
Right.
So my point was, I guess there's a scenario where Jayson Tatum gets hurt, Celtics win the championship, and it's like, well, is that really a Tatum championship? Because he was, he went out in game one. But let's just, for the sake of the conversation, assume they're both going to be as healthy as they've been. They're going to play key roles in this series one way or another. Somebody's going to hold a trophy soon. And we'll never, ever, 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 ever have to answer a question about can they get it done, when they will get it done, what happens if they can't get it done, can they coexist with this teammate, can they go forward with this cast of characters. Like, somebody's going to be able to remove that from the table. And that's a big thing for a basketball player, particularly basketball players in their 20s. So I love that. To me, that's the most interesting thing. Either Luka Doncic is going to be an NBA champion or Jayson Tatum is going to be an NBA champion. Now, we will get to a point where once you do it once, we want to see you do it again.
That's true.
But, like, you never have to – I always think this is these moments in your life when you're a famous person where you have an opportunity to change the way people think about you forever, or just on a very basic level, people introduce you forever. I always notice this in studio. I'll be in studio with former professional players, and it's like Wally Zerbiak gets introduced every time. Former NBA All-Star Wally Zerbiak.
Yep.
He made a one All-Star team. You know, that changes the way he is introduced.
That's right.
The rest of his life. If he's at a speaking engagement, this is Wally Zerbiak, former NBA All-Star. Even when, like, I introduce people, like my kids, to Wally. Hey, Wally, he's an NBA All-Star. It changed his life. Luka Doncic or Jayson Tatum is going to be able to do that, in the next 4, 5, 6, or 7 games. It'll change the way they're introduced, thought of, their Wikipedia page forever. That's the most interesting thing.
Yeah.
The Gary Parrish Show, live weekdays at 10 a.m.